YouTube, how's it going? This is Gons again with a video concerning the transhumanist agenda, and there are several things I want to bring up today, and it's inspired by the previews. While I went to go see Jupiter Ascending last weekend, I took note of a couple of ads on display and I wanted to talk about them. First off, the very first commercial was one for Coca Cola. Now, I don't know if this aired during the Super Bowl or what, but it was certainly on display at the theater. So check this out. So the ad starts out with people on the internet making fun of each other, hate, freak, just all the negativity that's on the internet. And then it shows the internet servers and then a guy drinking a Coke and he spills the Coke onto the server. Oh no, but what happens? Joy. Coca Cola is spread throughout the internet and happy. Things are rewritten. No one likes you, but after the Coca-Cola gets through the internet, there's no one like you. So you get the basic idea here. So on the surface, this is a really nice positive message, you know, with hashtag make it happy. And really, I don't have a problem with it in terms of that, but there are some things to point out here. First off, in my humble opinion, I think they're putting a little bit of internet censorship in the mind of the viewers, as in the internet is a scary and mean place. And actually, they're sort of right. I mean, I can't tell you the number of discussions that have turned into full-on arguments on the internet, and it happens every day, and you see it happen all the time. I think it's similar to that gentle dude who suddenly has massive road rage when he gets behind the wheel, and folks who thrive on anonymity on the internet can get downright mean. But for me, and I'm sure many of you, you've grown some thick skin and you either ignore the trolls or just block them or whatever. Personally, I don't like blocking anyone from the comment sections and stuff on my page, unlike the Sola sisters. That's another whole thing that I won't get into here, but that's just me. Secondly, the idea of spreading this happy feeling through the internet reminded me of two things. First is the Soma from Brave New World. You know, the thing that has the quote, all the advantages of Christianity and alcohol, none of its defects, end quote. Because, you know, quote, there is always Soma, delicious Soma, half a gram for a half holiday, a gram for a weekend, 2 grams for a trip to the gorgeous East, 3 for the dark eternity of the moon, end quote. So yeah, the happy drug. But the other part of it was that it was spread through the internet. Now, in Age of Deceit 2, I talk about the concept of a global brain and that Satan was trying to turn us into his golem, basically abandoning the image of God that we were created in for the exchange of the image of the beast, taking up the mark of the beast and becoming of one mind with the beast. And if you don't worship him, we are killed. If you look at Revelation 13:5, it's pretty clear that that's what it states. This global brain concept would essentially mean that we would volunteer ourselves or merge with artificial intelligence or self-aware artificial intelligence and become part of the system. And really the early stages of this publicly is happening right before our eyes with the internet. I quoted Dick Pelletier in the movie, but I'll quote him again. It's worth quoting, and I'll extend the quote as well because there's more that he said. Quote, computer scientists compare the internet to Earth growing a global brain. As users, we represent the neurons. Our emails, IMs, and blogs act as synaptic actions, and electromagnetic waves through the sky become neural pathways. Like germinating seeds, this wonder tech continues to evolve and, as many predict, will not stop until it achieves human-like consciousness. Forward thinkers believe that sentience can emerge from information systems like the internet. Belgium artificial intelligence expert Francis Halian, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, believes that the World Wide Web empowers itself from billions of human interactions it observes daily, and one day, feeling and self-awareness will rise from the worldwide digital creation. Feelings are a lower level of consciousness in a system's environment. In that sense, the global brain is just beginning to understand events that affect its goals. Higher consciousness and self-awareness levels would enable the internet to reflect on its own functioning. Although today's algorithms make the web more intelligent, it still cannot monitor itself. But quantum computing and artificial intelligence advances expected in the 2020s will greatly enhance our global brain. Could tomorrow's global brain connect directly to human minds? At present, information exchanged between humans and computers only occur with mouse, keyboard, or voice. However, futurists believe that one day technology will enable us to interface wirelessly with machines and each other in a thought-talking mode. Imagine commanding machines with our thoughts and communicating mind to mind with each other." End quote. So when you consider such a quote, the idea of some sort of drug or some sort of substance like Coca Cola or whatever it is, spreading this feeling of joy through the internet, doesn't seem like just a commercial just to promote Coca Cola. There's probably some underlying symbolism and hidden meanings there. Now, moving on, the second preview that I saw was for the movie Ted 2. Now, Ted is that stuffed bear that with the foul mouth or whatever. Now, this one, of course, is a bit more adult themed, so bear with me here. Get it? Bear with me. Bad joke. Anyway, now the idea is that the talking stuffed bear married a human woman and now wants to have a child. So he asks his buddy, played by Mark Wahlberg, to be a sperm donor. Very mature plotline, right? So as the previews unfold and the story sort of is relayed, the couple receives a letter that says that if you want to have a child, they're going to have to prove that Ted is a person in a court of law. There's a line by Morgan Freeman in the preview that says, "The important thing about being human is making a contribution to society." So I really have zero desire to see this movie, but I will say this. I think that movies like this is preparing the culture for the conversation that's already taking place, actually, about human rights and personhood. What makes a person a person? Ravi Zacharias, the philosopher and apologist, pointed out in one of his talks about humans asking that question, and he was brought on to a panel discussion to talk about human ethics, a secular meeting, and one of the questions that was brought to the table was, what does it mean to be human? And what Ravi points out as being ironic is that it was humans asking the question. So in other words, we humans don't even know what it means to be human anymore. This is how far gone we are as a society. And I think this movie is either a reflection or a precursor, probably a little bit of both, to that dilemma that we're facing. And I really think this is ample evidence to what Jesus said in Matthew 24, that as the days of Noah were, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. And what was happening in the days of Noah? Well, for those of us who read the Bible, we know that the sons of God, back in Genesis 6, were mating with human women, producing a race of giants called the Nephilim. And as many have pointed out, Daniel 2 talks about iron mixing with miry clay, but that they won't cleave to one another. So what kind of ideologies will a culture uphold in order for these things to be present again? And I would say that a society of humans that don't even know what it means to be human, that could be a very good underlying principle to move into these areas of merging and mixing and violating what God ordained as kinds between species, between animals and humans and everything else, even machine. So this is why I think, as we take God out of the picture in society, this is the sort of thing that fills the gap. And this is why we think Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, because he is where we get our meaning, our purpose, and our destiny. So moving on, the third preview I wanted to touch on is a movie coming out called Chappie. Now this one I probably will go see. I probably will do a review on it. So here's a little bit of the preview, guys. Check it out.
The deployment of the planet's first robotic police units became the focus of the world in 2016.
Drop your weapons. You're under arrest.
Vincent Moore is a former soldier.
The problem with artificial intelligence is it's way too unpredictable.
The Scout creator, Dion Wilson, sees a rich future.
So we have a police force of robots, but then we have a character played by Hugh Jackman that is opposed to artificial intelligence.
I have a robot that is operated by a thinking human being.
We don't want this. It's expensive, it's big, and it's ugly.
The Scouts are a huge success. Stop worrying about these pet projects.
I think I've cracked it. This is a new kind of life form, a new step in evolution.
And so they talk about a new step in evolution, and now Chappie is born. He is an artificial intelligence, a sentient artificial intelligence.
You are Chappie.
Chappie.
It's like a child. It has to learn.
What's that? Chappie's book?
Yeah, it's yours.
Chappie's got stories. Chappie's got a book.
Anything you want to do in your life, you can do. Write poetry, have original ideas.
Chappie wants to paint.
Wow.
What in the name of the Lord?
Your little robot's a big problem for me.
A thinking robot could be the end of mankind. Destroy that robot. Burn it to ash.
Something of great danger headed our way now.
I don't want to die. I want to live. If you want to survive,
Chappie doesn't want to die. Chappie wants to live. Here you go. A war breaks out, a battle with, and of course, an obelisk. Did you guys catch that? Always.
you like my people. You think you're real?
You don't get away with this. He's special!
I'm consciousness.
I am consciousness. I am alive.
I am Chappie.
I am Chappie. So there you go. That's the preview for the movie coming out, Chappie. And again, it's promoting this artificially intelligent sentient being. Now, what's interesting is that this is exactly what Kevin Kelly, the co-founder of Wired Magazine, talked about in his book, What Technology Wants, where he basically outlines that humanity is birthing a new life form. And he describes it as through the technium, this artificially intelligent sentient machine is going to be born through humanity. And we're nurturing it, as Dick Pelletier said earlier. So based on the previews, it seems to me that what they're doing is trying to draw sympathy for the machine. Now, I grew up loving this movie called Short Circuit. I mean, I love this movie. I was a big Johnny No. 5 fan, you know, so I can relate to some of the sentiments of what the film is trying to portray, you know, so that's nothing new there. But I think as these technologies become more real, it's going to be more important for us to be talking about these things through ethical means. And, you know, again, the church is silent on this, or are they? Now, I'm going to talk about that in a minute here, but I do want to say this. Now, someone told me about a year ago that they believe that the artificial intelligence, a sentient artificial intelligence already exists, and that the global elite are taking orders from it. Now, I have no idea where he got this. Maybe it's just made up or whatever. But if that's the case, then, man, we're really close to the end. But I want to discuss this article with you to wrap things up here. And this is an article written by Zoltan Istvan on Gizmodo. It's called When Superintelligent AI Arrives, Will Religion Try to Convert It? Very interesting. Now, he brings up an angle of this that is fascinating, and it's something that I hadn't really looked at before or thought about before, but it's no surprise given some of the things that the papacy has recently talked about with baptizing an alien and stuff like that. So I'm not surprised at all, but he goes through here, he talks about how, whether we like it or not, we are creating autonomous, self-aware superintelligences, and that we will have to try to control it for better or worse. And he points out that, quote, as artificial intelligence advances, religious questions and concerns globally are bound to come up, and they're starting to. Some theologians and futurists are already considering whether AI can also know God. And then he quotes Reverend Dr. Christopher J. Bennick. He quotes him as saying, quote, I don't see Christ's redemption limited to human beings. And then he goes on, it's redemption to all of creation, even AI. If AI is autonomous, then we should, I think he just meant should, then we should encourage it to participate in Christ's redemptive process in the world. Now, this is coming from a man who is an associate pastor of Providence Presbyterian Church in Florida and holds a master's degree in divinity and theology from Princeton University. Smart guy, okay? So this guy is saying, oh, we should include the AI in part of the redeeming process. And he goes on to talk about these metaphysical questions. And this paragraph I want to read to you because it's kind of the crux of the issue here. And this is Zoltan Istvan speaking, quote, the metaphysical questions surrounding faith and AI are like tumbling down Alice's rabbit hole. Does AI have a soul? Can it be saved? There is one school of thought that figures if humans can be forgiven for our sins, why not superintelligences with human qualities? Quote, the real question is whether humans are able to be saved. If so, then there is no reason why thinking and feeling AIs shouldn't be able to be saved. Once human-like AI exists, they will be persons just like us. Futurist Giulio Prisco, founder of the Transhumanist Turing Church, told me in an email, end quote. So this is, that's Zoltan Istvan speaking. And furthermore, he quotes Dr. Jason E. Summers from Think Christian that says, quote, Christians often reject strong AI on the theological ground of the special anthropological status of human beings as the bearers of Imago Dei, or the image of God. So, you know, there's different views here that he points out, and I think it's a good sort of summary of what's going on. But there's one more angle that I want to bring up and add to the soup here of different possibilities. And that is that these artificial intelligences that are sentient will basically be charged or possessed entities that have taken on the body. Now, there are some theories that suggest that ghosts and demons and stuff like that are disembodied spirits of the Nephilim. That's based on some extra biblical text. But if that's true, then it makes sense that they are looking for a host. They're looking for some sort of physical manifestation. And we see this in the Bible when Jesus casts out Legion and he sends him to the pigs, right? And the pigs go down to the bottom of the sea and stuff like that. The demons want to inhabit some sort of physicality. So when we're talking about artificial intelligence and sentience that comes from it, what are we talking about? Could it be demonic entities that are seeking physicality? And again, this goes right back to Revelation 13 when it talks about the false prophet giving breath to the image of the beast. So the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who don't worship the beast to be slain. So he brings up several more points that are very important to discuss. And I appreciate the effort here by Zoltan, because I think what he's trying to do is sort of keep everybody happy, you know, and try to find some common ground or try to create some sort of synthesis between the seemingly separated views of a spiritual worldview and a materialist worldview, and, you know, trying to find some sort of happy medium. But this is the convergence point. And, you know, we talk about the Great Deception and the, you know, the aliens coming down and, you know, saying that the world will unite very quickly if, you know, there's an outside threat from outer space. And I think the same thing can be said about artificial intelligence. If all of a sudden we create this artificially intelligent army or something like that, I think the world can unite, especially if they're hostile, obviously. But even if they're not, I think a new form of spirituality can be formed very quickly. A one world religion will sort of come together because people are going to be faced directly with the questions that Zoltan brings up. So I applaud Zoltan for bringing it up, even though we're on completely opposite ends of this issue. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that we can baptize the AI? Or do you think that this is, again, just more evidence, more proof that not only are we being conditioned for this sort of thing, and again, you know, just to remind you that the Coca Cola commercial, that TED 2, legalized TED commercial, and Chappie were 1, 2, 3 in the previews. Right away, you have conditioning happening right there in the theater. So again, just more thoughts here, keeping track of this topic, and it's developing and it's coming at you more quickly, more stuff being said, more things being discussed. We need to talk about this as a church. We need to bring it up with our friends and family because it's coming down the pike. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching it. Please share, please subscribe. God bless.